got some bad news for you. Networking is work. Hi, I'm Greg Peters, the Reluctant Networker, coming at you to help you make connections with success. So the other day I was chatting with a good friend of mine. He is a martial arts instructor, and I asked him to tell me a story about how networking helped him out at some point in his past. Well, he was telling me about this gentleman that actually trained at his dojo, and we'll call the gentleman Bob. You know, the names have been changed to protect the guilty. And Bob and my friend, they were kind of close acquaintances, but for one reason or another, there began to develop certain tension in the relationship. And my friend, he said that when that happens, a lot of times that person will leave the school and leave your life, and you'll never hear from them again. But Bob was a little different, because what he did is he came to my friend and actually said, hey, you know, I'm feeling this tension. Why don't we talk about it and see what's going on there? So the two of them actually sat down and had a conversation, and they worked out what those little issues were that were bothering them. And they ended up having one of the best friendships ever. A few years later, my friend decided to start his own business, and guess who he brought in as his partner? Bob. And the two have had a successful business for the last 13 years. All because Bob took the extra effort to make sure that this relationship would continue growing in a strong way. Networking is work. It's about developing relationships, and relationships require effort. In fact, if you want to have great connections, it requires a certain greater level of effort on your part. So what do we need to know in order to make this more successful? Well, first of all, you can only build a few connections at a time. Oh, you can meet lots of people, but to really build them and to move them up the scale of connection to make them stronger and stronger, you only can work with maybe 3 to 5. And I made this mistake all the time when I was first starting out as networking. Every person I met would go on my spreadsheet, and I would try to establish stronger connections with them. At one point, I think I had about 150 names on that spreadsheet that I was trying to build stronger connections with. That didn't work out so well, because you can only spend so much time in any given day working on your networking, reaching out to other people, having longer conversations, going out for coffee. It just took too much of my effort. And after a time, I kind of started giving up on it. And that's a dangerous point, because then when you start giving up, when you stop doing the activities that have built the stronger relationships in the first place, sooner or later, those relationships fade and your network dries up. So you can only focus on 3 to 5 relationships at a time to really build them in a strong way. Second of all, as I mentioned, it takes time. It's not going to be wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. It's got to be, you know, you have to spend time sitting with them, having coffee. You might even have to do some extra effort to find the resources that they are hoping to find, what they need for success. You need to find time to be of service to them. Good relationships take time. If you have children and you want them to, if you want to have a strong connection to them, it's not enough just to say hi and bye and spend 10 minutes with them. It's got to be some real effort. I know I spent a lot of time with my daughter Abby just recently. We were working on her science fair project together. You know, that's a lot of time and effort put in, but you know, it brings us closer. So make sure you make time for those relationships. And finally, this is a big one, and it's hard for many of us. You have to be willing to be vulnerable. You actually have to share a portion of who you are with them. You have to help them to know who you are. That's how we make friendships. We can't make friendships only on the surface. It has to be something where we are actually going deeper and finding out more about each other. You know, if you don't even know whether that person is married, it's tough to say that you actually have a great connection with them, right? Second of all, you also have to share with them what you need. And not only what you need, the very fact that you do have needs. Have you ever been in a one-sided relationship where it feels like either you or the other person is giving all the time and the other person is just doing the taking? That's not an equal relationship. So you have to give them the opportunity to be of service to you as well. And that means you have to be vulnerable and admit that you need help. Hey, networking is work. Building those connections, building those relationships, that takes effort, that takes time, takes vulnerability. But, the best connections, the best relationships we build are really what make our lives worthwhile. It makes us a success. It makes us significant. So go out, build your relationships, build your network a few at a time, build them stronger so that you can have more success. Hey, if you enjoyed this, make sure you subscribe down below, and if you think someone else might enjoy it, pass it along. Take care and hope to talk to you soon. Bye-bye.